Good evening. Welcome to the Mind of STEM channel, where you get your daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and this evening I'm going to talk about some more computer information technology or computer graphics. Tonight, I'm going to talk about the study of user interface design. Now, there are a few other names for it, like UI, which stands for user interface. There's another name for it called human centered design and development. But regardless, when it comes to user interface design or user interface engineering, it's the design of user interfaces for machines and software such as computers, home appliances, mobile devices, or other electronic devices with the focus on maximizing usability and the user experience. The goal of user interface design is to make the user's interaction simple and efficient as possible in terms of accomplishing user goals or user-centered design. Now, good user interface design facilities, finishing, or let me put it to you this way. Good interface or good UI or good user interface design facilitates finishing the task at hand without drawing unnecessary attention to itself. Graphic design and typography are utilized to support its usability, interface influencing how the user problems contain certain interactions and improving the aesthetic appeal of the design. Again, graphic design and typography are utilized to support its usability, influencing how the user performs certain interactions and improving the aesthetic appeal of the design. Design aesthetics may improve or detract from the ability of users to use the functions of the interface. Now, the design process must balance technical functionality and visual elements, the example, the mental model, to create a system that is not only operational, but also usable and adaptable to changing user needs. Now, interface design is involved in a wide range of projects from computer systems to cars to commercial planes. All of these projects involve much of the same basic human interactions, yet also require some unique skills and knowledge. Now, as a result, designers tend to specialize in certain types of projects and have skills centered on their expertise, whether it is software design, user research, web design, or industrial design. Now, when it comes to processes, user interface design requires a good understanding of user needs. It mainly focuses on the requirements of the platform and its user expectations. Now, there are several phases and processes in the user interface design, some of which are more demanded upon than others, depending on a project. Now, note, the remainder of this commentary, the word system is used to denote any project, whether it is a website, application, or device. Now, functionality requirements gathering, assembling a list of the functionality required by the system to accomplish goals of the product and goals of the project and the potential needs of the users. User and task analysis, a form of field research. It's the analysis of the potential users of the system by studying how the platform will perform the task that the design must support and conducting interviews to elucidate their goals. Typical questions involve: what would you want the system to do? How would the system fit with the user's normal workflow, daily activities. How technologically savvy is the user, and what similar systems does the user already use? What interface look and feel styles appeal to the user? Now, of course, there's information architecture, which is the development of the process and or information flow of the system, i.e. phone tree systems. This would be an option tree flowchart, and for websites, this would be a site flow that shows the hierarchy of the pages. Prototyping, development of wireframes, either in the paper prototypes or simple interactive screens. Now, these prototypes are stripped of all look and feel elements and most content in order to concentrate on the interface. Usability inspection, letting the evaluator inspect the user interface. This is generally considered to be cheaper to implement than usability testing and can be used early on in the development process since it can be used to evaluate prototypes or specifications for the system, which usually cannot be tested on users. Now, some common usability inspection methods include cognitive walkthrough, which focuses on the simplicity to accomplish tasks with the system for new users. Heuristic evaluation, in which a set of heuristics are used to identify usability in the UI design, or pluralistic walkthrough, in which a selected group of people step through a task scenario and discuss usability issues. There's usability testing, testing of the prototypes on the actual user, often using a technique called think aloud protocol, which you ask the user basically to talk about their thoughts during the experience. UI, or user interface design testing, allows the designer to understand the reception of the design from the viewer's standpoint and thus facilitates creating successful applications. Now you have graphical user interface design, and basically what that is, the actual look and feel design of the final GUI. GUI is the graphical user interface. These are designs, control panels, and faces, voice controlled interfaces that involve oral auditory interaction, while gesture based interfaces witness users engaging the 3D design spaces via bodily motions. It may be based on the findings developed during the user research and is refined to fix usability problems found through the results of testing. Now, depending on the type of interface being created, the process typically involves some computer programming in order to validate forms, establish links, or perform a desired action. Then you have software maintenance, because after the development of a new interface, occasional maintenance may be required to fix software bugs, change features, or completely upgrade the system. Now, once a decision is made to upgrade the interface, the legacy system will undergo another version of the design process and will begin to repeat the stages on the interface lifestyle. Now, of course, there's also requirements, and you need the requirements because the dynamic characteristics of a system are described in terms of the dialogue requirements contained in 7 principles of Part 10 of Ergonomics Standard. Again, 7 principles of the Ergonomic Standard, that's ISO, International Standard Organization, 9241. The standard establishes a framework of ergonomic principles for the dialogue techniques with high-level definitions and illustrate applications and examples of the principles. Now, the principles of the dialogue represent the dynamic aspects of the interface and can be mostly regarded as a feel of the interface. Now, the 7 dialogue principles are: suitability for the task. The dialogue is suitable for a task when it supports the user in the effective and efficient completion of the task. Self-descriptiveness. The dialogue is self-descriptive when each dialogue step is immediately comprehensible through feedback from the system, or it is explained to the user on request. Then you have controllability. The dialogue is controllable when the user is able to initiate and control the direction and pace of the interaction until the point at which the goal has been met. Then conformity with user expectations. The dialogue conforms with user expectations when it is consistent and corresponds to the user characteristics such as task, knowledge, education, experience, and to commonly accepted conventions. Error tolerance. The dialogue is error tolerant if, despite evident errors in input, the intended result may be achieved with either no or minimal action by the user. Suitability for individualization. That's where the dialogue is capable of individualization when the interface software can be modified or altered to suit the task needs, individual preferences, and the skills of the user. Then you have suitability for learning. The dialogue is suitable for learning when it supports and guides the user in learning to use the system. Now, the concept of usability is defined of the ISO 9241 standard by effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction of the user. Part 11 gives the following definition of usability. Usability is measured by the extent to which the intended goals of the use of the overall system are achieved. That's effectiveness. The resources that have to be expanded to achieve the intended goals. That's efficiency. To extent to which the user finds the overall system acceptable. That's satisfaction. So effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction can be seen as quality factors of usability. Now, to evaluate these factors, they need to be decomposed into sub-factors and finally into usability measures. So, the information presentation is described in Part 12 of the ISO 9241 standard for the organization of information, arrangement, alignment, grouping, labels, and location, for the display of graphical objects, and for the coding of information, abbreviation, color, size, shape, visual cues by 7 attributes. Now, the attributes of presented information represent the static aspects of the interface and can be generally regarded as the look of the interface. Now, the attributes are detailed in the recommendations given in each standard. So each of the recommendations supports one or more of the 7 attributes. Now, the 7 presentation attributes are clarity, which that's the information content is basically conveyed quickly and accurately. Discriminability, that's displayed information that can be distinguished accurately. Consciousness, users are not overloaded with extraneous information. Consistency, a unique design conformity with the user's expectations. Detectability, the user's attention is directed towards information required. Legibility, information is basically easy to read. Comprehensibility, the meaning is clearly understandable, unambiguous, interpretable, and recognizable. Now, the user's guidance in Part 13 of ISO 9241 describes that the user guidance information should be readily distinguishable from other displayed information and should be specific for the current context or use. Now, user guidance can be given by the following 5 means. Prompts indicating explicitly, that's specific prompts, or implicity, generic prompts, that the system is available for input. Feedback informing about the user's input timely, which is perceptible and non-intrusive. Status information indicating the continuing state of application, the system's hardware and software components, and the user's activities. Error management, including error prevention, error correction, user support for error management, and of course, error messages. Also, there's online help for system-initiated and user-initiated requests with specific information for the current context of use. Again, when you deal with any type of information technology, there is an online help for system initiated and user initiated requests with specific information for the current context of use. Now, before you design any system, you must do research. So, give you this information. User interface design has been a topic of considerable research, including on its aesthetics. Standards have been developed as far back as the 1980s for defining the usability of software products. Now, one of the structural bases has become the Ifip, User Interface Reference Model. The model proposes 4 dimensions to structure the user's interface. Number 1, the input-output dimension. That's the look. The dialogue dimension, the feel, the technical or functional dimension, the access to tools and services, the organizational dimension, the communication and cooperation support. So, to wrap it all up, the model has been greatly influenced by the development of the international standard known as ISO 9241, which describes the interface design requirements for usability, the desire to understand specific application UI issues, or we can say the desire to understand application specific user experience or user information or user interface issues early in the software development, even as an application was being developed, which led to research on GUI. Now, GUI again is graphic user interface design. Graphic user interface design, that's known as GUI, which is a GUI based software. And that can in fact be specified through means other than writing program code. When we talk about program code, that's actually writing a program in a C program or C++ program. So basically, recently, research has been strongly motivated by the increasing variety of devices that can, by virtue of Moore's Law, host complex interfaces. Now, if you're interested in interface design, I know Purdue University, they have a very good program. Check with your local college. But again, this is a STEM major. You must be strong in math, and you must be disciplined, and you must have some graphics design, and you can utilize user interface for website design. And that concludes this topic from the Mind of STEM channel. Again, before I overall conclude this topic, just want you all to know user interface design or user interface engineering is the design of user interfaces for machines and software and computers, home appliances, mobile devices, and other electronic devices, which basically focus on maximizing usability and the user experience. Once again, I thank you for viewing this edition of the Mind of STEM channel. And on this channel, I'll give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. And what I want you all to do is like and share these videos. This information is educational. It's very important. It takes time to make STEM videos. What I'm giving you is information from my heart. Of course, I'm taking some articles from Wikipedia and other science, technology, engineering, and math articles and blending them together so I can deliver this content for your viewing pleasure. So, again, please like the videos and share the videos. And if you're looking for a little bit more controversial content, check out the 401 Talk Zone radio show on YouTube, and also check out the 401 Talk Zone radio show on Blog Talk Radio. Basically every week I do a show And I'm basically doing more and more political shows. 215-383-5785 is the number that you can call in. Now, if you can't find me on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, simply look me up on Facebook and Twitter. Again, can't find me on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, you can look me up on Facebook and Twitter. All of the links are posted below the video. Once again, I thank you for listening to the Mind of STEM channel, where you get your daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Until next time, my name is Leon Jones. You have a wonderful and gracious evening. God bless you.